Football is the game. Football is the game. This is the Friday Soccer Paycheck coming to you live, 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, broadcasting from our deep end studios in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, and the United States of America. This is America's first and only wagering podcast focusing on the English Premier League and the English Championship. This is the Friday Soccer Paycheck. Welcome. All right, guys, it's Friday and it is match week. Usually we come to you every Friday at 4:20 p.m. Eastern if we have a full slate of EPL and championship action, which we do this week. Last week we were off with very partial action. We had a lot of FA Cup type of stuff. And if you ask yourself why we're not on for that, it's quite simple. A lot of times when these teams that we're always talking about on this program play in the various tournaments that are offered, they don't necessarily bring their A side. They don't necessarily play all their starters. They go deep into the bench in a lot of cases. And it's just not really our expertise or our cup of tea. We really just rather focus on these two leagues themselves. So if you don't get any FA picks or Carabao Cup picks from us, that is by plan. That is not by accident. We just basically don't care. Champions League as well also applies. Although we do take the lessons of the Champions League from the week because it does wear you out. We've seen it plenty of times. I mean, how about Arsenal just in midweek now? I mean, they played a lot of soccer. They had a 2-0 lead over the lowly Wolves, first place against last place, and they coughed it up and give Wolverhampton a draw. So Arsenal playing a lot of soccer recently, and it'll kind of come up and bite you. I mean, we have Euro qualifiers as well that will stick their nose into things. And, of course, we have the World Cup coming up this summer too, which, we will get into and have some fun with that. All right, so what do we do now? We focus on the championship and we focus on the EPL and we try to bring home good money with that. In fact, if you tuned in last time, I think we gave you everyone basically straight up except for one, right? Fulham, I think, was the only loss that we liked. And Fulham had a 1-0 lead over poor Crystal Palace. And, a lot of times these guys outsmart themselves. They'll drive you crazy if you're an American football fan. You know what letting off the gas means. It means you take a lead and you try to protect it. And basically you try to play not to lose. And a lot of times when you try to play not to lose instead of trying to play to win, that'll come back and bite you in the butt. And that's what it did. Everton it was actually. It wasn't Crystal Palace. It was Everton. Everton was able to get 2 goals. They played some good defense, got some opportunities, and were able to take out Fulham. So a blemish, I think that was the only blemish really in the picks that we liked. I think even our championship picks were okay last week, if I recall that. A couple of the overplays didn't get there, but a couple of the other ones did. 2 weeks ago, it's hard to kind of remember this stuff. I guess I should log it. But you can't dwell in the past or think about the past, especially if you're going to try to do this for some sort of a living or secondary kind of income. You need to always be focusing forward and not dwelling on anything in the past. except trying to apply the life lessons that you've learned. Okay. And we'll apply that now. Let's look forward. I've looked at the lines briefly, and I basically know who's playing what. And I went ahead and formed some opinions already and did kind of my first instincts. And I actually have some tickets with that we'll go ahead and put up on the screen. Okay, so if you're watching on YouTube and kind of just watching us in this beautiful backdrop of a empty stadium, now you have some tickets you can look at for a little bit. Maybe take a picture of it, jot it down with your piece of paper, whatever. If you're listening and not watching, then yes, keep driving. Don't try to watch the screen and the tickets we have up. I'll go through them all anyway. Basically, at the end, a lot of the things we're going to go over right now. Just have your pen and paper kind of ready and be ready to go. I will say this. I had a very vivid dream last night. I was with my dad. I was with my sister, which my sister asked me out to lunch just a little bit ago to go with my dad. Usually we do a Saturday lunch. Not every Saturday, but we'll try to get dad out of the house. He's 89. So she confirmed the lunch, and the dream was actually us in the car, and I was looking at a bunch of green check boxes next to a bunch of soccer teams and with a payout of over $700,000. So how about that for a dream? I immediately, when I woke up, went right to the menu and did my first instincts bet of, who could cover such madness for such an exorbitant price. So I think I came up with an 11-leg parlay that will give it out. Mostly straight up teams, but a couple lines in there with the goal line. So be ready with your pen and paper. Basically, my thoughts will stay kind of the same with all of that. Weather-wise, chance of rain later in the day in the UK, depending just where you are, there's a chance of rain. It doesn't look like anything super crazy right now, though. As far as temperatures go, quite pleasant if you're in the UK, actually. I mean, we'll have 56, 58 degrees. It's not freezing. So if it's rainy, at least the legs won't be locked up and frozen on you, which would lead us more to an under type of game. Winds, not exactly too crazy either. A little blustery. For example, tomorrow we're expecting 50 degrees, chance of light wind, and a little blustery, a chance of light rain, that is, over the course of Saturday, but 56 degrees. I mean, I think you live with that this time of the year if you're in the UK. So I'm not going to be too worried about weather and totals. And let's just see where we kind of fall on the scale of things. Let's look at the tables first. And yes, I got 2 new tables ready to go the way that I like them with all our guys, with our recent form and everything. We mentioned Arsenal. They're coming off back-to-back draws now and clinging to that first place lead, which is 5 over Man City, who hasn't capitalized really in their last 5. I mean, they have a draw and a loss and only able to really cut 2 points into the Arsenal lead. If they can turn that loss into a win, I mean, they're right there on the doorstep. Aston Villa, not really able to capitalize themselves. 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw for them in their last 5, although they did win their last time out, 50 points for them. And then we drop off to a pair of teams, Manchester United and Chelsea, are in the mid-40s. And after that, I mean, it's Liverpool 42, Brentford 40. Your top 10 rounds out with Everton, Bournemouth, and Newcastle. All teams with points in the mid to upper 30s. Sunderland, you can kind of group with them, tied with 10th with Newcastle with 36 points, but 2 losses in a row for them. And then we start to fall off a little bit. My boys Fulham were doing so good. Now 3 losses in a row, 4 out of 5. Now, some of this counts as, for some of these teams, the recent form with some of this FA Cup stuff and whatever. Crystal Palace, not doing good. 32 points for them. And then it starts to get really interesting, really, from here on down. Even you got it with the amount of games left to play, which is 12, and you get 3 points a win. Even teams like Newcastle and Sunderland, maybe even Bournemouth. I wouldn't say that anyone in the bottom 10 is exactly super safe right now. Even if you're 10 through 13, you're in some sketchy territory. Brighton 31, Leeds 30. These are all teams who do not or would not consider relegation at all for their squad at the beginning of the season. Tottenham 29, Leeds with 30. Nottingham, who did so good last year, 27 points, clinging onto the last safe spot. And after that, you have West Ham, 24, who's been doing a great job trying to fight their way out of things. Burnley and Wolverhampton. The teams at the top who are hot, Man United is scorching hot. Chelsea as well. Both of those teams drew their last time out. But that's it. That's cup play, right? And they get to the extra time there. 4 wins each for them in their EPL matches before that. So they are your scorching hot teams. Your teams that are cold are Fulham, Palace, Brighton, not good at all. Wolverhampton. West Ham, 3 wins in their last 5, 1 loss, 1 draw. So you got to put them in the hot category. Bournemouth, 3 wins, 2 draws. That's good for them. I guess Man City. This is a sub-pace for Man City. 3 wins, a loss, and a draw in their last 5. Basically, that's regression to me. All right, let's look at some injuries because that actually came into play last time because we went heavy against Tottenham because of the injury factor, and that was the case. So let's not forget about the injuries. Let's get through these real quick, and we'll get back to the game lines and come up with some picks. Bournemouth, 4 players hurt. Tavernier is one of them. Good player. He is 50-50 to go. Arsenal, we get Saka back, Kai Havertz, Odegaard. Big chances those players available for their next match. Aston Villa, 8 players banged up now. Baba Kamara, he's been playing good, out. Tiamens, Matty Cash in. John McGinn out. Yes, we are not. Come on. Sorry, guys. A little bit of a are you a robot with one of those captchas? And of course, it kicked me off the injury table screen. Stand by. Let me get that back up. Burnley, 7 injuries. Banged up team they are. All of them ruled out. Chelsea, let's see, 7 injuries. All ruled out. Decent players. No one is really going to knock your socks off, perhaps big name-wise. Crystal Palace, Decore, Edward Nketiah, Mateta, all out. Lerma, out. These are key players for Crystal Palace. Everton, Grealish, out for them. But relatively healthy besides that. Fulham, relatively healthy. Leeds, let's see. Pascal Struck, looks like he's available. Liverpool, 5 injuries for them. Alexander Isak, out. Man, Liverpool could really have some nice firepower if they get Isak on the same line with Salah there. Let's see. Man City, Kovacic, Gravidal, Jeremy Doku, all unlikely to play. It looks like Holland is good to go. Those are the key injuries there. Man United. I haven't seen Mason Mount in a while, but that's fine. They haven't needed him, really. Let's see. Newcastle. Fabian Schär out. Johan Wissa, 50-50. They'd like to have him back. Much different team, Newcastle, with Wissa in there or without him. Nothing key for Nottingham. Yeah, Chris Wood's out. He seems like he's been out a little bit lately. Sunderland, 3 players listed. How about Tottenham? 13 players again listed. Are we ever going to get James Maddison back? Koloveski, Bentancur, Mohamed Kudus, Ben Davies, Christian Romero, suspended for the red card. Rich Arleson, all these players out. Dominic Solanke, he's been sick, but they'll at least have him going, it looks like. West Ham, 4 injuries for them. Fabianski's the key one there, out. And Wolverhampton, 3 injuries for them. And that's Wang. He-Chan Wang is a very good player, out for Wolverhampton. All right. So you take note from that. Tottenham, again, no injuries. I mean, a ton of injuries. And I think they have Arsenal, if I'm correct. So let's take a look at the lines and see what we got as we flip through and put tickets up on the screen. All right. First order of business in the English Premier League will be no early game. So 3 games at 10 a.m. Eastern, 1 at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 1 at 3 p.m. Eastern. A trio of games Sunday at 9 a.m., 11:30 a.m., and then Monday at 3 p.m. And then we'll have soccer next week as well. In fact, we'll have a Friday game. It looks like Wolves and Aston Villa. So we'll try to come on. We'll be coming on for the tail end of that. Play the over. All right. There's your pick for next Friday. All over already. Aston Villa and the Wolves over 2.5 goals. Okay. Brentford and Brighton. Brentford at home plus 105. Brighton is at plus 240. Actually, a nice price for Brighton. 270 on the draw. This game rigs to me. Brighton is not they're a team I like to kind of try to mess with, but so inconsistent. I mean, this has 1-1 written all over it to me. Brentford's definitely the better team, probably, and the better team at home. But this should be, you would think, at least a fun matchup. If he gets to 2-2, I wouldn't doubt that. Or if even Brentford just wins 1-0, 2-1. I think we just fall somewhere like this. Too close for me to really get a keen feel for. I think we have better plays on the board. So just generally a pass. If you're going to do some sort of an over ticket where you want to find 5 games to do a round robin and go over 4.5 goals, I think you can qualify this for that, to be honest. You're taking a chance now. I'm not saying that's the pick. Go ahead and take this on an over 4.5. But if you're looking for a dancing partner and you need to add a play on and you don't know what to do, maybe just dumb it down to 3.5 as well. I think you can get goals here with Brighton and Brentford, but man, I don't trust it. I really don't. It sounds like more of an over game 2 years ago than it would be right now. We have Aston Villa at home, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time against Leeds. Aston Villa minus 120. The comeback plus 350 and a draw plus 260. We saw my man Leon Bailey finally getting involved. Where has my man Leon Bailey been? But he was on the field last week. Aston Villa, you think that they're going to hold serve at home here. I think they can at least score a goal or two. We do have Morgan Rogers. We do have Ollie Watkins listed. We do have Bailey listed as well. Jadon Sancho. I think Leeds can score here as well. Probably give you a goal. This wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I would trust this to go over 4.5, I think, before I would Brighton and Brentford, to be honest. I would lean over here. If you want to take Aston Villa on a over 1.5 goal ticket, I like to take teams getting over 1.5 goals or more. Maybe find 4 or 5 of them, use those as a profit boost. Then I think that you can put Aston Villa on that list over 1.5. Of all the teams in this time window that have a chance to score 2 goals for themselves, not named Chelsea, I think Aston Villa is the one. All right, so I'll lean Aston Villa over Leeds. We have Chelsea as a heavy favorite, minus 475 over Burnley. This could be a whitewash. Chelsea is not afraid to ring up the goals on you, at least for 3 before they call off the dogs. We haven't seen Chelsea put up a 4 or 5 spot really in a while. Against someone like Burnley, that could be the case. If you want to lay a puck or a goal line, minus 1.5, minus 2.5, I'm not gonna hold you away from that. By all means, kind of go for it. On the halftime plays, Chelsea's only plus 108 to get 2 goals in the first half. That is an extremely low payout for 2 goals and a half by a team. That kind of tells you that Chelsea's going to score a bunch here, I think. I don't know. If you want to bet over 4.5 goals, let's see what we get. This might be the weekend to kind of take a chance on it, to be honest, with Chelsea. Plus 560 to get the 5 goals for Chelsea, plus 240 to get the 4 goals. So if you want to take some long shot chances, it's set up perfectly for Burnley to have a bad game here against Chelsea for sure. 12:30 p.m. Lunchtime kickoff East Coast for West Ham and Bournemouth. Could be another really good game. West Ham's been hot, but so is Bournemouth. You can't discount that. I think this is lined properly. West Ham is plus 150. Bournemouth plus 165. The draw is at plus 260. I've been a West Ham lover. They've been great for me. I'd hate to jump off the ship now. I think this is a good week to maybe try to avoid them because Bournemouth can't shut you down defensively a little bit, make life hard for you. And we'll find better spots maybe for West Ham down the road. Now, if West Ham wins this game, it's not going to shock me whatsoever. Can we have a shootout here? Yeah. I don't see why not. Bournemouth brings their A game on the road. West Ham plays good at home. Maybe they each get a couple of goals each, and we have a higher scoring game. So I would say there is a good chance for overs in this 10 o'clock window if you want to just carpet bomb them all over 3.5. Burnley, Aston Villa, Brentford, Brighton, West Ham, all over 3.5 goals in a parlay. Maybe do them all over 2.5, and then do them all over 3.5, and then do all of them for $5 for over 4.5. I bet you'll get a really, really big payout on that. I'm not going to calculate that. It'll kind of take me a minute. If I do the 4s, I'll do the 3s for you over 3.5. Let's see what we got. So over 3.5 plus 138, West Ham and Bournemouth. Chelsea, you almost want to take them by themselves. But Burnley's been able to score a goal or two lately. Plus 114 for that. I mean, over 3.5 is a hard number to get to in soccer at the end of the day. Plus 220 for Aston Villa and Leeds. And then Brentford and Brighton over 3.5 is at plus 205. So $10 wins you $487 over 3.5 goals if you want to just carpet bomb that morning slate of EPL games and the 12:30 game as well. There is a late game. We might see a shutout here, or even a little bit more of a defensive battle. Maybe these teams have been playing a lot of extra soccer as well. Newcastle scored 6 goals midweek. You wonder if they just emptied out the chamber and now they got to go to Man City. Man City's minus 200. Newcastle plus 470 as the away team. I would feel better about this being an over type of game if Newcastle was at home. Besides that, I don't think I have a play. Man City, the tax on them is just so high all the time. I don't want to lay $2 with them. Even with the goals over 1.5, a team like Newcastle could hold them to that 1 goal. I mean, yeah, over 1.5 goals. Well, that's for the game, is at minus 950. Over 2.5 is at minus 250. The value might be plus 198, under 2.5 goals. And just take a chance that this is a bogged down soccer game. You know, not super loosey-goosey. Man, that's a nice payout. Minus 124 for under 3.5 goals. That is Man City and Newcastle. Other than that, we'll have no play there. So the best bets on the board, and I'm putting my dream ticket up there now too. Have you noticed the 2 green slides as they kind of go through? That will be my ticket of my dream, where we won over $700,000. Let's see here. Sunday, yeah, best play EPL, I think, is Aston Villa and Chelsea home team goals. Aston Villa over 1.5, Chelsea over 2.5 would maybe be the parlay there. If you want to get extravagant, go for it. Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Crystal Palace and the Wolves. Now, the Wolves are getting a nice price here, plus 440. I don't trust them to win this game, but man, the draw plus 300 might be okay. And remember, if you're going to draw or plan to bet the draw, then you almost always want to do the correct score. 0-0 is 11-1. 1-1 is plus 650. 2-2 is 16-1. If you want to play the draw, split your units up amongst those 3. Correct score 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, and you're now getting plus 450 on 1-1. You're getting 9-1 on 0-0, and you're getting 14-1 on 2-2. So that's a good way to increase your odds without having to do anything crazy. I mean, that's better than taking the draw straight up. Obviously, if we do some kind of round robin, it's harder to do that. But just for the straight up sake, it's a good way to do things. Don't discount the Wolves here. I'm not going to say they're going to pull out the outright upset against Crystal Palace, but a lot of injuries there. A lot of injuries. Nottingham Forest host Liverpool. Liverpool minus 125. I think Liverpool's probably the play here, and maybe even over 1.5 goals for them is a nice play. They have to be. I mean, Nottingham is not on the same caliber as Liverpool. They just aren't. But Liverpool on the road, you think they just want to win and get out of there. So over 1.5 goals for Liverpool. Maybe you throw them on that ticket with Aston Villa. Over 1.5 goals is at minus 136. All right, so we'll lean with Liverpool on that one. Sunderland and Fulham evenly priced, plus 165 for Sunderland, plus 170 for Fulham, plus 220. I'm going to go ahead and give you a no play on this. I like Fulham, not in good form recently. Sunderland's been tough. I don't trust Sunderland as far as I can throw them, basically. So we'll do a no play on this one. Tottenham, they host Arsenal. Tottenham is 5-1 odds to win this game, plus 310 for a draw. Arsenal minus 180. Arsenal straight up is the pick here. If you do Arsenal minus 180 and have some patience throughout the weekend, Liverpool's minus 125. And I think your next best bet, you can take Man City minus 200. I think you can. Just throw them on this. Do you throw Chelsea on here? Sure, why not? So we're taking all the good teams, just straight up. If you take all the good teams straight up, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and Aston Villa, it pays 8-1. If you have $100, you put that down, it's $832. So that's a good payout. Requires a little bit of patience because you got to play the weekend, but come Sunday at 2:00, if you're getting cashed out, $832. That's a nice payday. In fact, I wish I had $300 to put on it. But we'll keep our stakes small as we have plenty of bills to pay around the studio this month. One last game, Everton and Man United. This game is at Everton. This is going to be a little bit of a grudge match. These teams aren't exactly fans of each other. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it's a Monday night game in the UK. This smells like 1-0 crack score, Man United. I will lean under here. Two teams good at defense. They'll be playing hard, and I think Man United just good enough to squeak out that one goal. Other than that, it's a no play. The overall slate of things in the EPL, I would say, is not strong this week. Kind of buyer beware. The good thing is warmer temps, not freezing, even with a little bit of rain. Maybe we get some overs. Again, just go with the chalk maybe. Aston Villa, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, and Arsenal. Now, who's going to be the one to screw it up for you? That's the question. But that does pay almost 9-1. Arsenal straight up has to be the pick, right? Against the Tottenham team who's completely dismantled. You'd love to have Odegaard back in there for Arsenal. That's for sure. But Arsenal and Liverpool together, that pays plus 180. Maybe that's a good way to go. Hey, $1,000 wins you 1,800 if you do that. I mean, how do you not throw Chelsea on there to be Burnley? There's no way they lose that. I guess if I'm skeptical of anyone I just mentioned on that list, it would be Aston Villa and Man City a little bit. I think Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea is the automatic play. So let's just look at that. So chalky. Plus 238. All right. Let's take a look at the championship table. See if we can come up with some better plays here. All right, Coventry on top here, 62 points. Middlesbrough, second place, 61. Millwall and Ipswich have jumped Hull now. Millwall 56, Ipswich 54, Hull 54. Derby, who's been very good, 48 Derby. You haven't gone unnoticed by me. I'll tell you that. So your automatic two promotions right now would be Coventry and Middlesbrough, both playing earlier in the week. Coventry winning 3-1. And your tournament would be Millwall versus Derby, Ipswich versus Hull in the first round. Winner of that tournament to get into the English Premier League. On the outside, looking in by point differential only, because 6, 7, and 8 all have the same points. Wrexham with 7. Wow, can you imagine Wrexham getting promoted to the EPL after their mass promotions of recent years? That'd be very, very impressive. The Sunderland, I mean, is basically the Sunderland story of promotion, of downfall and promotion. Preston is in 8th with 48 points, sneakily being decent. Preston getting some points out of draws recently. Bristol, 47. Southampton, 46. Southampton has shot up the charts here. 4 wins in their last 5 for Southampton. Birmingham, 3 wins out of their last 5. 2 draws, 46 points for them. Watford, struggling, 45 points for them. 13th spot, QPR, inconsistent. Stoke, they haven't won in a while. A couple draws, but 3 losses in their last 5 for Stoke. They're in 14th, 43 points. Sheffield United, 3 wins in their last 5. They're in 15th. Swansea, 42 points, tied with them. So really, 48 being the playoff round. Okay. Of 48 points, all the way down to 16th. You're within a 2-game winning streak of being in that spot, maybe. How about that? So if Swansea were to win their next 2 and everybody else draws or loses and 0 points gained by Derby, Wrexham, or Preston, then Swansea would be right up there tied with those 3. So, and they're in good form, Swansea here. 3 wins out of their last 5. That is Swan C, S-E-A, like a swan, then the sea. A Welsh team, if you're not familiar with soccer. Swansea is a fun team I like to bet on myself. Norwich, red hot form, crawling out of the basement. 39 points. They won 4 out of 5. After that's Charlton, Blackburn, Portsmouth. Your safe team with 34 points is West Brom. Not too long ago, they were in the EPL, and now they're facing potential relegation. How about Leicester in the relegation zone and appealing points for a points deduction? 32 points for Leicester. That is the relegation zone. Oxford has 28, and Sheffield Wednesday -7 with their issues. They haven't won in forever. They've scored 1 goal, I think, in their last 11 games now, as Sheffield Wednesday. They've won 1 game all year. 8 draws, 23 losses. Leicester's lost 4 out of 5. They're really completely bad. No one wants to manage them. And really, those are your 2 worst. Oxford, not good. Stoke, not good. That's the main thing to take out of that. The hot teams, there's plenty of them. It seems like Middlesbrough, hot. Millwall, hot. Ipswich, Hull, decently hot. They've cooled off a little bit their last 2. Derby, hot. Southampton and Birmingham, in good shape there. And Norwich, very good shape. The teams that have scored, Coventry has scored 66. They've allowed 36. As far as extremes go, that's about as good as it gets. Ipswich has allowed 29, and so has Stoke. So those would be your 2 better defensive teams. And 66 is by far the best for scoring for Coventry. Middlesbrough has 50. Ipswich 51. Hull has 50. And then we drop after that. Worst team scoring, Sheffield Wednesday, 19. And they've given up 64 goals. Leicester has given up 51 goals. Sheffield United is an over team, 45 and 45. All right, so 90 goals there in their 32 games. Another hot over team is Southampton, 92 goals in 32 games for them. 85 goals in 32 games for Bristol. 93 goals in 31 games for Hull. Ipswich, 80 goals in 30 games for them. Coventry, 102 goals in 32 games for them. So all these teams are over teams one way or the other So approach it like that if you like. Seriously. Norwich, 84 goals, 32 games. Yeah, we mentioned that. How about Leicester? 96 goals in 32 games. Even Sheffield Wednesday, who can't score, is a over type of team because they give up so many goals. 64. All right. Plenty of overs this year in the championship, more so than in recent years. Let's see what we can come up with. All right. To the line board. Looks like we got off our soccer lines. So let me get back to that. An intriguing radio is clicking around the internet, trying to fulfill our dreams of mass riches via soccer, the English Championship. Hey, man, if you're going to get rich betting, isn't it going to be on something like this, right, where we claim this to be a little bit of a niche with the championship? A lot of over teams. I mean, and we have nice weather. Their pitches aren't as nice. So if we get the rain, we might get bogged down a little bit. Okay. As always, they give us 3 Saturday early starts, but they actually don't. They give us 4. We have 4 early starts now. And I would say some of these are just auto plays to the over, right? Swansea and Bristol is a good game, and I would say that's an auto play to the over for these two. Plus 110, plus 250, just because of recent form. Neither's form is exactly too bad. Swansea's been scoring a couple goals a game. Bristol seems to be doing very well. So you got to lean on the over there. Leicester's been on the fade train. They are at Stoke, who's not a good team. So do you want to, put all your heart into Stoke here? I personally don't. But maybe you bet the over just as an auto play because of Leicester and their goal situation of having so many goals given up, and they're able to score a little bit themselves. I could see where this game could get stuck in the mud, though. Maybe a pass, right? I don't know. If I look back at the championship, let me look at Stoke one more time. I mean, they aren't the worst. Stoke in their 32 games has 63 goals. I mean, that's 2 goals a game. So they are an under type of team. They've only won 3 out of their last 5. Even though Leicester's been worse, I can't trust them, and I can't trust either to score. So no play here. Hull and QPR. Hull is plus 140, 2-1 on QPR, plus 210 on the draw. And if we look at QPR, 89 goals for them in 32 games on a -3. They have won a game in the last 3 weeks with a draw and a loss. They've just been super inconsistent. The play here would be Hull, right? They are the hotter team, even though they've lost and drew their last 2 out. But this is an over type of game, you would think. QPR can at least score a goal to make that happen. So over 2.5 is fair, I think, to say here. Even to get to 4 goals wouldn't shock me. Let's just say that. Leading with the home team, Hull. Let's see here. Next play on the board. West Brom and Coventry. Again, West Brom right on the verge of getting bounced down into League One. Coventry's been nice. On the road, Coventry's been nice all year. Recent form, nice. January, end of December, very beginning of February, a little questionable. You hope this is like if they were to win this game convincingly, I think this is the full bounce back. All right, Coventry is back. They are your best team. They do score a lot. So you got to figure they're going to win this game at West Brom. So, yeah, Put Coventry on any ticket that you would like. Tough game with Wrexham and Ipswich. Ipswich is good, plus 105, and Wrexham plays you tough, plus 260 for Wrexham. I mean, it's a nice price for Wrexham at home, but man, Ipswich is a good team. So probably just two good teams in a pass. I could see this as an under type of game, considering both of these teams are towards the top and trying to make basically the playoffs to get promotion. So probably a little bit nip and tuck with Wrexham and Ipswich. I'll lean under, and I won't play it myself. Watford, up and down season. They've had some hot streaks. They've had some duds. They seem to be in kind of a cold spell now. They are a plus 110 favorite, though, over Derby, who's plus 250. I like this Derby team. I really do. They've been tough. I don't know if they'll get the outright win here, but if you wanted to take them at plus 250 to steal this game against Watford, I wouldn't blame you. Over 1.5 goals at plus 230 for Derby is a sneaky kind of play. It really, really is. So a ticket, in fact, let's just build this ticket. We'll take Coventry over 1.5 goals. That's plus 110. We'll take Derby over 1.5 goals. Away team over 1.5 plus 230. Those two together are 6-1. Man, I like this play already. I think you take Bristol and Swansea over 2.5. Let's just say that, because either team could get 2 goals there. The other one's going to get 1. We'll get plus 102 at over 2.5. So let's add that onto the ticket. And then I think with Hull and QPR, you almost don't want to, but we'll add them on a ticket as well. Even money over 2.5. So we're right now at 28-1 with Hull QPR over 2.5, Swansea, Bristol over 2.5, Derby over 1.5, Coventry over 1.5. Let's see what we can add on to this. As I keep switching tickets up on the screen. Nike Boy 8749, will this hit? I mean, we hope so, Nike Boy. We're not playing it for our health. Sorry, I got to respond to this. Yes, chat us up on the YouTube page. Let's see here. We do know what we're talking about. Nike Boy 8749. Let's see. What do we have? 65 combined years on both sides of the sports book. All right, there you go. Hey, we appreciate your comments and tuning in. Thank you, guys. Definitely. Okay, getting back to business here. Millwall and Portsmouth. I want to trust Millwall at home. Portsmouth has just been playing a little bit better lately. Millwall has been an interesting team. They've scored a lot more than what they have in previous years. They've been like your proverbial just defensive sluggish team. Here they are, though, with 41 goals scored, and they've allowed 37. They won 3 of 4. I mean, you got to like what they're offering. Portsmouth has won 2 of their last 4. I mean, you lead with Millwall at home here, obviously. So do we take them for over a goal and a half? Might as well. Let's just throw them on there. So Millwall, home team. That doesn't mean they need to win, just score twice. Over 1.5 goals is at plus 100. Middlesbrough and Oxford. Middlesbrough is a heavy favorite, minus 300. 7-1 on Oxford, plus 380 on the draw. Absolutely take Middlesbrough at home here. They are, any way you want to do it. Over 1.5 goals is minus 200. If you want to just add that to the list, minus 300 to win straight up. If you want to go minus 1.5, minus 2.5, by all means. Now, we talked about Chelsea being a very dominant team, potentially over Burnley, to score like 3.5, 4.5 goals. Let's use 5 goals as the magic number of, ridiculous amounts of goals scored on the afternoon. And we'll put Middlesbrough in there with Chelsea. I'll come back to that one and tell you what it pays off. Norwich and Birmingham, let's take a combined effort for both of these teams over 2.5. I think that they can both score. That's at minus 106. That's a nice cheap price. Southampton and Charlton. Southampton has been playing well. I mean, they've been scoring too. So 1.5 goals for them is very live. I guess Charlton. See, I like the championship a lot better than the Premier League this week. I tell you, I mean, we got to pick in almost every game. Over 1.5 goals for Southampton is at minus 158. And then we have one last home game with Sheffield United against Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield United is a minus 900. The comeback is at plus 1,500. Now, Sheffield United, they have scored 45 goals on the season in 32 games. They've allowed 45. They give up a bunch. I don't know if I can trust them to do what I think Middlesbrough can do and Chelsea can do in a blowout. But maybe we'll take a look at it anyway. We'll talk about the blowout ticket here in a second. Let's just review what we got for the championship so we're done with it. It looks like we have 8 plays. How about that? All this, if you do it for $10, wins you $2,700 on this 8-game parlay. But I would break this down, maybe first 4, next 4, or, whatever you're comfortable with yourself. The early morning session and then the late session, maybe, since we have 7:30 and then 10 o'clock Eastern. All right, so goals, team goals. Coventry, got your pen and paper ready? Coventry, over 1.5. Derby, over 1.5. Combined, over 2.5 for Swansea and Bristol. Combined, 2.5 for Hull and QPR. Over 1.5 Millwall. Over 1.5 Middlesbrough. Over 2.5 Norwich and Birmingham. And over 1.5 Southampton. If you want me to trim it down, in fact, let me take a picture of this for myself before I get rid of it. Let's trim this down to something a little bit easier. Who do we want to trust the most here? Let's get rid of Derby, because we don't know who's going to score the 2 and the over 2.5s. Let's get rid of all of those. Okay, this ticket pays about 10-1. Coventry over 1.5. Millwall over 1.5. Middlesbrough over 1.5. And Southampton over 1.5. Hard pressed to lose that one, I think, honestly. Okay, so that's the championship. If we do a super blowout ticket, Middlesbrough, let's just say they go off. Middlesbrough for 4 goals is plus 470. Plus 470. Let's use the 5 goals. All right. 11-1 for that. I think Sheffield United can get 3 goals against Wednesday because that's their rival. They'll rub it in. Let's see. That's almost minus 148. Let's see. To get the 5 goals is plus 420 for Sheffield United. Yeah, let's pass on that game. And as bad as Wednesday's been, they've been at least a tiny bit competitive. All right, to the EPL. Back to the EPL. So we have Middlesbrough over 4.5 goals. Super blowout. Now we're going to put Chelsea in there too. Chelsea, home team, over 4.5 is at plus 560. That's 78-1 odds. So $10 wins us $782 on that. All right. Again, I like the championship games better than I do the Premier League. I do. Our $1 million ticket, let's go over that. We had a dream last night. This wasn't our dream. So I saw the cash out number and everything. So if we're going to take this straight up, and these are the teams if you want to take them straight up here instead of doing team goals, this helps as well. But this is the way we're leaning. All home teams just about. Swansea, Hull, Coventry, Derby, both road teams. Norwich, Middlesbrough minus 2.5. Aston Villa minus 1.5. Chelsea minus 2.5. West Ham, Man United minus 2.5. And Southampton back to the championship. Southampton straight up. $15 wins you $719,000. That was the ticket in the dreams last night. Now, there's 2 things here. You got to play this ticket twice for cash out reasons because you're going to pull your hair out if you go 9-0 and you have to root for West Ham against Bournemouth and then Man City to get lay 2.5 against Newcastle. One, I don't want to put anyone through that. So if you play this ticket, you got to play it twice. So you have something to click to cash out. Or you play everything before West Ham and Man City and leave them off, which I did. I just did a separate ticket themselves with everyone mentioned before that. And I'll go in reverse order again. Southampton, Chelsea minus 2.5, Aston Villa minus 1.5. Middlesbrough minus 2.5, Norwich, Derby, Coventry, Hull, Swansea. There you have it. It's in the books. Another edition of the Friday Soccer Paycheck. Right at 1 hour. Look at that, guys. Perfect. Nike Boy, thanks for the comments. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to all the viewers and listeners today. Again, we're available for replay. Hit rewind, listen, and jot down the picks if you're running late to us. Plenty of them. We like the championship better than the EPL slate this week. Good luck, everybody. Let's try to get another winning weekend here on the Friday Soccer Paycheck. Good luck, guys.